It was the eve of Aldrich's birthday, and his mother, along with Delia, were planning a surprise for him. After dinner, Aldrich had retreated to his study and wouldn't come out until midnight, giving them the perfect window to prepare everything. When asked if help was needed, the offer was declined directly. Feeling disheartened but not wanting to spoil the mood, she stepped aside, knowing that all the effort was for Aldrich. While they decorated, she stood silently, troubled by the thought that Aldrich's mother still didn't accept her, even though she had done nothing wrong. She tried to avoid arguments, especially because negativity could affect her baby. As midnight approached, his mother instructed a maid to call Aldrich out. The moment Aldrich stepped out, a party popper went off. The hall was filled with birthday music. He looked around, smiling at the decorations. Seeing him smile made her heart swell with happiness, wiping away earlier sadness. Delia jumped excitedly and led him to the cake in the middle of the hall. Everyone gathered around him. She stood at the back, unable to find space. His eyes searched the crowd and paused when he saw her. He was about to call out to her, but his mother interrupted, asking him to cut the cake. Aldrich did as asked. He cut a piece and fed it to his mother. Delia quickly offered him the cake again, prompting him to feed her in return. She almost kissed him, but Aldrich turned his head, and her lips landed on his cheek. As the crowd dispersed, she approached him to give her gift, but Delia intercepted, causing her to step back. "First, have a look at my gift, Lion," Delia said with excitement, handing him a box. "What's this?" Aldrich asked with a puzzled expression. "Open it," Delia replied eagerly. Inside the box was a key. Aldrich picked it up, inspecting it. "Neiman Marcus," Delia said, making her gasp in disbelief. It was an extravagant gift, a bike Aldrich casually added to his collection, thanking her. Feeling out of place, she stepped back again. The bike was incredibly expensive, a gift far beyond what she could afford. She clutched her own small gift tightly, disheartened. Aldrich's mother then gifted him a diamond-studded watch. While Aldrich expressed his gratitude, she slipped away into her room, placing her small box on the side table. Compared to the lavish gifts from his mother and Delia, hers felt insignificant. About half an hour later, a soft knock drew her attention. To her surprise, Aldrich stood there with a slice of cake. He entered, closed the door, and walked silently to her. "I'm sorry I got late. Delilah wasn't ready to leave me," he said. "Then why did you come?" she asked. "You should have enjoyed your birthday with them." "Because I wasn't feeling happy with them." He shrugged and gestured for her to sit on the bed. She chuckled, placing the cake between them. "You got all those expensive gifts and still weren't happy." "Money, money, and more money," he smiled. "But after you." His words made her smile disappear. "But you made me sad today." He pouted like a child. "You didn't even wish me," he added. "I'm sorry," she said. "That's not enough. You have to compensate," he demanded. "How?" she asked, confused. He leaned in, pointing to his lips. She was stunned. He had refused Delia's kiss earlier, yet asked her for one. "No," she said, stepping back. "You're acting like we've never kissed before." "We have, but then we were married," she replied. "We're the parents of a child," he said. "Does a piece of paper define our relationship?" She hesitated. He continued, "I don't care what society thinks." She couldn't respond. He went on, "And I haven't forgiven you for hiding the baby's news. I'll give you sweet punishments instead." He teased. "I tried to tell you," she murmured, "at Miller's party, but I saw you kissing Delia." He lifted her chin. "Were you jealous?" "Why would I be?" she asked. "She kissed me because she saw you coming toward me." "But why would she be jealous of me?" she asked. "Because you have what she never can," he whispered. "Now compensate and make my birthday happy." he said, his lips just a breath away. She hesitated, nervous. He groaned, "Don't test my patience, Sia." She kissed him gently. As she pulled back, he cupped her head and deepened the kiss. They moved together in rhythm, matching each other's intensity. "Happy birthday," she whispered. "Thank you," he smiled. "Let's cut the cake. I brought cupcakes because you hate cheesecake," he chuckled. "You're going to be a father of 2 and still love cupcakes," she teased. "I'll cut it on behalf of my baby," he said. "Babies," she corrected. They laughed, and he held the knife, cutting the cupcake. She sang him a birthday song, remembering how he always insisted on cutting cakes as a child. He offered her a piece, but she made him eat first. "One for my baby," he chuckled, feeding her again. She felt her love for him grow even deeper. He teased, "Don't look at me like that. You'll fall in love." "Oh, I already have," she thought silently. Noticing his gaze shift to the gift on the table, he asked, "What's that?" "Oh, it's nothing." Before she could finish, he grabbed the gift. "Was that for me?" he asked. She nodded, embarrassed. "I didn't think you'd like it." "That's for me to judge," he said, unwrapping it. Inside was a globe, marked in several places. "Why is it marked?" he asked. "I know you dream of dominating global business. The marked countries are where you already lead. The rest are goals for you to reach," she explained. He was touched. "It must have taken a lot of effort." "It wasn't hard. I've been keeping track through your interviews and online." She grinned. "So you pretended to be innocent when I told you about Spain?" he teased. "Yes," she admitted. "You're good at hiding things," he said with a smile. "I learned it from you." "How?" he asked. "No one hides emotions better than you. The world sees a monster, but I know the soft-hearted man you are." He looked away, gulping. After a pause, he asked, "What did you bring me from my baby's side?" She was caught off guard. "Nothing." "Great," he grinned, happy. "As compensation, I want to cuddle with my baby," he said slyly. "What?" "Lie down," he said, pushing her back. "But you can't sleep with me." "I'm sleeping with my baby," he clarified. She wondered if he had lost his mind. "Sleep, sleep," he said again. Without letting her argue, he pulled her into his arms, one hand on her stomach, the other beneath her head. He gently stroked her stomach as if calming the baby to sleep. In his arms, her mind and heart found peace, and she drifted off to sleep. Every night, Sienna went to bed alone, yet each morning she woke in Aldrich's arms. Whenever she questioned him about it, he would casually say that he came to cuddle with the baby. After all, it was his child, too, and no one, not even Sienna, could stop him. He was incorrigible. One morning, while Aldrich was busy on important calls, he asked Sienna to prepare breakfast. Delia was already eating, and Aldrich's mother was nowhere to be found. Unexpectedly, Delia handed Sienna a bowl of fruits. Surprised, Sienna questioned her intentions. Delia never liked her, never even liked seeing her. Why was she being helpful? "Don't worry, I haven't added poison in it," Delia said, but her tone was venomous. Sienna glanced between the bowl and Delia, who sat eating from her own bowl while shooting glances at her. Why would she give her fruits? Could she be trusted? Seeing that Delia was eating the same fruits, Sienna tried to dismiss her suspicions. Fruits were healthy, after all. Still, she picked out the papayas with a fork. "Why are you picking out papayas?" Delia asked. "I don't like papayas," Sienna replied with a smile. Delia argued that Sienna, being pregnant, needed to eat everything, especially papayas, as they were good for the baby. "Are they?" Sienna asked, curious. She remembered that her mother had died when she was around 22, without ever telling her anything about pregnancy. She hadn't discussed it with Lily either. Truthfully, she wasn't ready for the baby. Fate, however, had other plans. Reluctantly, she decided to eat the papayas if they were good for her child. As she brought the fork to her mouth, it was yanked away and thrown to the floor. Aldrich stood before her, furious. "What the hell, Sia?" he shouted. "What were you trying to do?" Stunned, she could barely respond. "I was just having fruits," she said. "Out of all the fruits, you chose only papaya," he pressed. She frowned, confused about why he was overreacting. "You need to do some proper research. You are about to abort our child," Aldrich accused. Her heart sank. "Papaya contains latex that can contract your uterus. How could you be so stupid?" he scolded. Sienna turned to Delia, whose disappointed expression gave her away. She had done it deliberately. Aldrich was right. Sienna had to stop trusting everyone. Her naivety could have endangered her child. "Are you even listening to me?" Aldrich shook her gently. "I didn't know. It's my first time," she murmured. "As if I'm used to giving birth," Delia scoffed, chuckling until a stern look from Aldrich sent her retreating into the kitchen. Turning to Delia, he asked why she hadn't stopped Sienna. "Because she was the one who told me to eat it," Sienna thought, but she didn't say it aloud. It would only infuriate Aldrich more. Delia shrugged. "Why stop her when she wants to remove the burden of my life on her own?" Sienna seethed. Delia was pregnant herself. How could she wish harm on another mother? Sienna wanted to slap her. For the sake of Delia's child, she had given up her own love. And this was her reward? "I can't trust her around you," Aldrich declared. "You're coming with me. I'll make sure you read books on motherhood while I attend meetings." "But no buts and ifs. This is my final decision." Delia was upset, but Aldrich didn't care. He took Sienna to his office, ordered books for her, and handed them to her, with strict instructions to read and learn. While Aldrich attended his meetings, Sienna read diligently, motivated both by her love for reading and her fear of endangering her baby again. Later, Aldrich returned, weary but watchful. He asked what she had learned. "Seriously? You want to ask me that?" she teased. "I made you read so you wouldn't repeat this morning's mistake," he said. "Enough, Aldrich," Sienna said. "It happened. How long will you keep taunting me?" "Oh, someone's looking cute," he cooed, kneeling before her stomach. "It won't talk." She rolled her eyes. "I'm its father. I can feel what it wants," he said, his eyes glowing. "And what does it want?" "Food," he grinned. "Isn't it obvious? You haven't eaten in 3 hours and it's dinner time." He laughed, and Sienna couldn't help but adore him in that moment. She could spend all day just watching him. "I know I'm handsome, but we need to get home and feed the baby," he said, gently touching her stomach. She chuckled, convinced he'd be the best father. Back at the mansion, dinner was tense. Delia glared at her, stabbing her food with alarming aggression, but Sienna had learned to ignore her. After dinner, she went for a walk in the garden to clear her mind. "Boo!" Startled, she flinched until strong arms caught her. The familiar cologne revealed it was Aldrich. "You scared me!" she exclaimed. "That was the point," he said, laughing. She tried to pull away and popped a piece of tamarind into her mouth. "What are you eating? It might be bad for the baby," he said, reaching for it. "Come on, Aldrich. You have a PhD in pregnancy and don't know this? Women crave tangy things," she teased. He eyed the tamarind. "Is that so?" And I'm not sharing." "Oh, really?" He raised an eyebrow. He lunged for her hand, but she clenched her fist. He tried to pry it open, and she stuffed the tamarind into her mouth. He smirked, clearly plotting something. Before she could stop him, he held her face, kissed her hard, and slid his tongue into her mouth to taste the tamarind. He always got what he wanted. He kissed her passionately, making her moan. She missed him, and his kisses, deeply. She hadn't realized she'd become addicted. No matter how much she tried to resist, she loved him completely. Tangy and sweet, he whispered. I loved the taste. He leaned in again when a strange noise interrupted them. Aldrich's mother was calling his name in distress. They both looked at the mansion. What's wrong? Forgetting the kiss, they rushed back, only to find a horrific sight. Delia was trying to take her life with a knife, and Aldrich's mother was desperately trying to stop her. Now, what is this new drama? Aldrich raced toward the mansion as strange sounds echoed from within, and Sienna followed with small, fast yet careful steps. Their eyes widened at the dreadful scene in front of them. Delia stood with a knife in hand, attempting to end her life, while Aldrich's mother desperately tried to stop her. What is wrong with her? Sienna whispered. Is she psycho or what? What are you doing, Delia? Aldrich asked, his voice a mix of surprise and anger. I am going to end my life, Delia screamed, tears soaking her cheeks. As Aldrich tried to approach her, Delia stepped back, raised her hand, and threatened him. Do not try to come near me, Aldrich, or I will not waste even a minute in ending my life. And don't you dare take this warning lightly. You know I've tried before, she said, her voice grave and thick with emotion. Aldrich froze, shaken. He was worried and scared. Sienna didn't know Delia well, but it was clear that she was resolute, stubborn even. If she said she would do it, she probably would. But why? Aldrich asked. Have you gone mad, Del? Yes, I have gone mad, Delia screamed at the top of her lungs. I can't see you going to someone else. Her eyes snapped toward Sienna with such hatred that it made her gasp. Delia's voice trembled. Aldrich, we were in a relationship for 3 years. I loved you with my heart and soul. I gave everything to you. I invested so much in our relationship. And one day, I find out you married someone else, without even asking me. She sobbed. I felt like a used toy you threw away because you got bored. And when you told me it was for money, I accepted it. I supported your marriage because I loved you. But what did I get? You weren't even ready to leave her. And when you did, she came back to snatch you away from me again. She sobbed harder and pierced her skin with the knife. Put the knife down, Del. We can talk like adults, Aldrich pleaded. I'm pregnant with your child, but the only person you care about is her. Delia sobbed. With a heavy heart, I stayed away for a year, hoping you'd be mine by the end of it, but all I got was betrayal. All 3 of them, Aldrich, his mother, and Sienna, stood silently as Delia poured out her anguish. From the day she arrived, you followed her like a lost puppy. When I was alone here, you didn't even look at me. Just because she was about to eat papaya, you took her with you. But what about me? What about our child? She cried. You've never cared about my meals or my health. Is this your justice? She pressed the knife harder against her skin and took a few steps back. Stop it, Delia. You'll hurt yourself. And the baby. Aldrich's mother tried to reason, but Delia was too far gone. I did everything for you, but who got your attention? She said, eyes snapping toward Sienna again. She glared at Sienna. I organized a birthday party for you, but with whom did you spend the night? Her. Sienna realized how deeply Delia resented her. I waited the whole day for you, Aldrich. But who did you search for first when you got home? Delia growled. This third-class woman. Sienna gasped at the insult. I may be poor, but I've earned what I have with hard work, Sienna thought, stunned. She has no right to insult me like that. Delia, Aldrich warned her. See? Delia said, as another tear slid down her cheek. Even now you take her side, because I came from her class? Enough, Delia! Aldrich snapped. Enough of you, Aldrich, she screamed. I can't let someone else take you. Either you're mine, or I end my life, right now, and you'll be responsible for my death. What do you want? Aldrich's mother asked gently. Just put the knife down. Your son, Delia replied. I want your son. If you want me to drop this knife, call your lawyer now and have our marriage papers prepared. Both Aldrich and Sienna were taken aback. Sienna felt chills, her palms cold with fear. Her heart raced. I, Aldrich stammered. We can talk. I don't want to talk, Delia snapped. I've heard enough. My child won't be born without the father's legal name. I'm giving you 30 seconds. If you don't call your lawyer, I will end my life. Dell, he began. 30 seconds, Mr. Aldrich Lionel, she warned, closing her eyes as tears spilled down her cheeks. Aldrich's mother shook him. What are you waiting for? Call the lawyer. Mum, I don't want to. It's not about what you want. That girl is about to kill herself. Don't you care about the child she's carrying? But what about Sienna? She can leave after giving birth. We'll raise the child as our own, his mother insisted. No, Aldrich screamed. 10, Delia started counting down. 9. Stop it, Delia. You're not a kid anymore. This isn't how sensible people behave. You're 30, not 3, he scolded. Delia's voice was cold. You've always taken my love for granted, Aldrich, but no more. If your happiness lies in her, then so be it. I'm leaving this world so you can be with her. Aldrich looked between Delia and Sienna, lost. Delia shut her eyes and placed the knife above her nerve. No! Aldrich stepped forward, but she pressed the knife deeper. I'm giving you one last chance. Call the lawyer or I take my life, she warned, eyes red with rage. I'm not calling him, Aldrich said firmly. This isn't the right way. I can't wait anymore, she screamed. I've waited 4 years. Put the knife down, Delia, he ordered, but she wasn't listening. If your happiness lies in my death, let it be, she said. Without another word, she slashed the knife through her skin. Blood gushed like a river. The knife dropped. Sienna gasped. Aldrich's mother was stunned. Aldrich ran forward and caught Delia in his arms. No one can love you like I do, Aldrich, she whispered. If I can give my life, I can do anything for you. You idiot girl! Keep your eyes open, Aldrich shouted. Let me die, she said weakly. I can't see you becoming someone else's lion. Her finger brushed down his cheek. And if I can't be yours while alive, I'll follow you in death. I'm never leaving you. She chuckled darkly. You're just mine, she breathed one last time. Delia, open your damn eyes, Aldrich screamed. When she stopped moving, he picked her up bridal style and ran to his car. His mother and Sienna followed, but at the door, she turned to Sienna. Where do you think you're going? She snapped. Stay here, she barked. Don't show fake concern. You and your child bring bad luck. Stay away from my family. With that, she climbed into the car, leaving Sienna alone in the mansion. Aldrich wasn't thinking about anything or anyone when he picked up Delia. He just wanted to save her life somehow. He knew she was a brainless beauty, but he never expected such a level of recklessness from her. He never knew she was so serious about him. During their relationship, Delia continued to meet and hang out with other boys. She even kissed a few of them in front of Aldrich, but he ignored it because he himself was never committed to her. He never loved her. At the time, his heart was closed off, and he spent nights with random girls, so he never stopped Delia from seeing other men. Aldrich thought Delia understood their relationship, that they were together only for money. He never imagined she would become so obsessed and take such drastic steps. That night, Aldrich had asked the driver to move to the back seat while he took the wheel. Delia was unconscious, blood dripping continuously from her wrist. It was not a good sign, neither for her nor the baby. Aldrich drove as fast as possible and rushed her to the nearest hospital. Cradling her in his arms, he ran in. She was placed on a stretcher and taken inside by the doctors. Her eyelashes didn't even flutter. Although Aldrich didn't love her, he didn't want her to die. At least not like this. A doctor informed him that it was now a police case due to the suicide attempt, and that her condition was critical. Aldrich threatened the doctor to save her and the baby at all costs. He wouldn't tolerate failure. The doctor, fearful, mentioned they needed blood, but couldn't say more. Aldrich called his lawyer, instructing him to keep the police away. As he finished the call, he saw his mother approaching. She bombarded him with questions about Delia and the baby. Overwhelmed, Aldrich replied simply that the doctors were doing their job. Then she asked about Sia. Aldrich started looking for her. His mother accused him of caring too much for Sia, even while Delia and the baby were in critical condition. Aldrich defended Sia, pointing out that she was carrying his child too. He was angry she'd been left alone in the mansion when she was afraid of the dark, and had never stayed alone. Her father had left the mansion on the day Sia moved in, unwilling to stay due to Aldrich's mother and Delia's behavior toward Sia. His mother argued that Sia was a bad omen, recalling that Sia's father went to jail the day they heard of her mother's pregnancy. Aldrich defended Sia, insisting today's chaos was Delia's fault, not Sia's. He admonished his mother not to involve Sia in it. When she challenged him further, Aldrich, exhausted, pleaded with her to stop arguing. She reluctantly backed down. A while later, the doctor came out, and Aldrich rushed toward him. Meanwhile, Sia was at the mansion, alone except for the guards outside. She was tired, sad, scared, afraid of the darkness and the loneliness. Ironically, she had to endure the night alone in that vast emptiness. She sat in a corner, hugging her knees, forming a ball of her body, thinking of how Delia had been threatening Aldrich to marry her. Delia claimed she had loved Aldrich for 4 years. Sia had loved him for as long as she could remember. She feared that no matter how much Aldrich might want her, he would eventually choose Delia. She had seen the care in Aldrich's eyes for her, but still feared the worst. Curling into a ball, a single tear rolled down her cheek. Her heart pounded. Something felt wrong. Perhaps it was the darkness playing tricks on her. Morning came with the sound of footsteps and whispers. Sia rubbed her eyes and realized she had slept on the floor, curled in that painful position. She winced as she stood up. Aldrich's mother gave her a hateful look. Aldrich ran to her, concerned. He hugged her, apologizing for not being there at night. It comforted her. She asked about Delia. Aldrich informed her that Delia had been discharged, but needed bed rest, and must avoid pulling such stunts again. Then he left with his mother, after promising to return. Sia returned to her room, freshened up, and took painkillers for her aching body. After much thought, she decided to check on Delia. But as she approached Delia's room, she heard loud screams and froze. If Delia saw her, it would only make things worse, so she stood behind the door. Inside, Delia was thrashing and crying, saying she didn't want to live. Aldrich lost his temper, shouting at her and threatening to restrain her if she didn't calm down. She sobbed as Aldrich's mother tried to soothe her. Delia cried about the baby, the paparazzi, her uncertain future with Aldrich, and her inability to breathe under the pressure. She insisted she wanted Aldrich's name legally tied to her baby before its birth. Aldrich's mother assured her that the wedding papers would be ready in 3 days, and Delia brightened. Sia watched the scene unfold from her hidden spot, her heart sinking. Aldrich's mother comforted Delia, telling her not to bring up suicide again. All the while, Aldrich sat silently, emotionless, which scared Sia the most. She didn't want Delia to die, but she couldn't bear the thought of Aldrich marrying her. Her heart couldn't take it. Aldrich seemed conflicted, his emotions barely contained. Delia begged him for a promise that he would marry her. He stayed silent, and she took that as a yes. Aldrich looked at Sia. His eyes were full of unspoken words, but she couldn't bear to hear them. Overwhelmed, she fled to her room, locked the door, and broke into tears. "Why can't he be mine?" she cried to herself. The 2 days passed quickly. Aldrich was set to marry Delia the next day, but his heart and mind were in turmoil. The unexpected turn of events had left him emotionally vulnerable. He was caught between duty and desire, standing helplessly on the horns of a dilemma. During those days, Aldrich had repeatedly tried to speak with Sienna, but she avoided him. There was nothing left to say. The one thing she feared the most had come to pass. He was marrying someone else. She would have to face it, whether she wanted to or not. She had to accept the truth. He couldn't be hers. That night, Sienna turned to head out for dinner, the only time she felt at peace. Just as she was about to step outside, her door opened, and Aldrich stood there. "I know you own this place," she said sharply, "but invading someone's privacy is not right, Aldrich." He didn't reply. He turned around and locked the door behind him. "I know," he said, "and I never would have invaded your privacy if you had just listened to me once. Do you even know how it feels when you walk away, ignoring me like I don't even exist?" "I know that feeling very well," she said bitterly. "You've ignored me for years." "Is this revenge then?" he asked. "Because if it is, I'm not taking revenge," she cut in. "And it doesn't even matter anymore. Whether I give you importance or not, I have to learn to live without you. The sooner I do, the better it will be for me." She folded her arms and looked away. He sighed and stepped closer, his eyes hollow and helpless. "Have you ever thought about me? About how I'll live my life?" "What about you?" she retorted. "You'll have money, a baby, and a beautiful wife ready to do anything for you. Isn't that exactly what you wanted before you married me?" "Sia, I've told you before, this isn't what I want." His eyes welled up with tears he refused to shed. "Then figure out what you want from life," she said, her eyes scanning him from head to toe. "I want to run away," he whispered. She stared at him, thinking he was joking, but there was no humor in his face or voice. "I want to run away from everything," he added. "And what then?" she asked softly. "I don't know. I'm tired. The workload, the questions, my family, everyone's driving me insane. I want to leave it all and go somewhere peaceful, somewhere I can live with the person I want." There was a long silence between them. "Running from your problems won't solve them," she said eventually. "They'll keep chasing you unless you face them." He collapsed onto the bed, head in his hands. "Then what should I do?" She chuckled at his helplessness, and he looked up at her, a deep frown on his forehead. "You're asking me as if you have options," she said. Sitting beside him, she continued, "Marry Delia. The baby in her womb isn't at fault. There's no guarantee she won't try to harm herself again. She and the baby might not be lucky next time." "And what about you and our baby?" he asked, glancing at her stomach. "Don't worry about us. We'll be fine," she assured him, holding his hands. "I just want one thing from you," she said. "What?" "A promise." "A promise?" he echoed. "You won't separate this baby from me," she whispered. "I'll raise the child the best way I can. If you want, I'll stay with you until the baby is born, but after that I'll leave. I don't want Delia or your mother mistreating my child." "No," he whispered hoarsely. "I can't let you go, Sia. I can't." "Why not, Aldrich? Life will be beautiful for you." It would be colorless without you, he said, voice cracking. I started living again the day you came into my life. Please. But we can't do anything, Aldrich. You can't marry both of us. I won't be your mistress, and Delia would never let you marry me. If only we hadn't signed that contract marriage, he said sadly. Life would have been simple and beautiful if we'd had a real wedding. Life includes suffering, she replied, and just because someone gets what they desire doesn't mean they escape suffering. I don't know when my suffering will end, he murmured. He looked shattered. She cradled his cheeks in her hands and kissed his forehead. You'll be happy, Aldrich, and don't worry. I'll never stop you from seeing our child. You can come whenever you want. His chin trembled, nose runny, eyes glassy. She rubbed his cheek gently. Why are you crying? He didn't answer. In all her life, she had never seen him cry. He was the one who made others cry. Richie? Suddenly, he pulled her into a bone-crushing hug, burying his face into her neck. His body trembled as he tried to contain his emotions. You can cry if you want, she whispered. I promise I won't tell anyone. She chuckled lightly to ease the tension. He clung to her as if she were his only anchor. His silent tears soaked her skin. She caressed his back until he stopped shaking and his heartbeat steadied. You control your emotions better than me, he said after pulling away. I hate myself for not being able to hide mine. Don't hate yourself. Showing emotions isn't weakness. It means your heart is pure, she said, patting his hand. Besides, crying clears your eyes. Her words brought a faint smile to his lips. After composing himself for a few more minutes, he took her hands again. Sia, he began, I've wanted to say this for a very long time, but never got the chance. His voice turned serious. But I have to say it now. If I don't, I won't be able to live. She inhaled deeply. She knew what he was about to say, but pretended she didn't. Go ahead. He nervously moistened his lips. A knock on the door cut him off. He groaned in frustration. She stood up and opened the door just enough so the person outside couldn't see him. I need your help, Mom, the dinner maid pleaded. Mrs. Lionel went to a party, and Delia Mom is busy on a call. Please help. Okay, Sienna nodded. She gave Aldrich one last look before walking out. Downstairs, she found Delia on the phone. As soon as Delia saw her, she grew nervous and quickly ended the call, heading toward her room. I will have dinner in my room, Delia instructed the chef. For the first time, Delia looked afraid, and it was because of Sienna. Strange. The day passed quickly. Aldrich didn't want it to end, because when it did, he'd be bound to a girl he didn't love. He wasn't someone who feared easily, but Delia's threats were terrifying. She had once threatened to take her life, and she was capable of doing it again. She was unstable, psychotic. He had gone to see Sia the night before. He hadn't meant to break down, but emotions took over, and though he hadn't confessed everything, it brought him peace. But the truth was, he loved her deeply, and though nothing would change, he had wanted her to know. Now, Delia was anxiously waiting for the papers. She had even called the lawyer herself. She warned him, if the marriage didn't happen today, she'd end her life. For the first time, Aldrich felt truly helpless. He was being forced into something he didn't want. He had searched for Sia since morning, but she was nowhere to be found. Delia finally placed the papers on the table and handed him a pen, practically glowing with excitement. He took the pen, though his eyes still sought something, peace. I can't wait anymore, Aldrich. Sign the papers already, she urged. With a heavy heart, he signed. He had no other choice. The onlookers clapped. Delia took the pen, bent over, and began to write the letter, D. Then, in a flash, the pen was yanked from her hand. A thunderous slap echoed through the hall, throwing Delia's face to the side. The one who slapped her was none other than S.I.A. Sienna couldn't sleep the whole night. Her mind was consumed by the thought that Aldrich was going to marry Delia. Earlier, she had left his house because she didn't have the courage to see him become someone else's. But now, fate had taken a cruel turn, forcing her to face her worst nightmare. She had wanted him to be hers, but sometimes things don't work out the way people hope. Tears streamed down her cheeks throughout the night, soaking the pillow beneath her head. She had tried to hold back her emotions while Aldrich cried on her shoulder, but now alone, she couldn't restrain herself. She twisted and turned in bed, her heart breaking as she repeated to herself that Aldrich was never hers. Yet it still hurt. She barely managed 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Since morning, she hadn't stepped out of her room, not wanting to face Aldrich with swollen eyes and a runny nose. He would surely know she had been crying all night. Sienna was torn. Should she stay for the sake of her child, or leave? She feared Delia would treat her even worse after the wedding. Despite not wanting to, she finally left her room because she was dizzy from dehydration. She had to take care of her health for the baby. After quenching her thirst, one of the house staff approached her. "Ma'am, what should I prepare for lunch?" "Ask Mrs. Lionel," she replied. "She's not home since morning. Delia ma'am is resting, and Sir doesn't seem to be in a good mood. I don't want to become a victim of his anger," the maid added, trembling. Sienna understood their fear. Aldrich was known for his temper and intimidating presence. She nodded and went to give instructions for lunch, but as she left, strange noises drew her attention toward Aldrich's mother's room. She recalled that the house help had said the elder woman wasn't home, and Aldrich was in his study. So who was in that room? Silently and cautiously, Sienna crept closer and took position beside the door, hidden from view. Her eyes widened when she saw Delia taking money from Aldrich's mother's cupboard. Judging by the bulge in her purse, the amount was significant. Why was Delia stealing? Didn't her family have enough? Were the rumors of her father's financial ruin true? Sienna was baffled. Aldrich's mother never denied Delia anything, so why sneak around? She watched Delia zip the bag and look around nervously before exiting. Sienna immediately ducked behind a wall. Delia clutched the purse tightly and scanned the mansion to ensure no one followed. Something was very wrong. Sienna decided to follow her. Leaving the bottle behind, she grabbed a mask and exited the mansion. Delia didn't take her car. She got into a cab. This shocked Sienna, who quickly asked her driver to follow without alerting suspicion. After a 30-minute ride, the cab stopped. Delia exited and looked around cautiously. Sienna's driver parked behind a tree to stay out of sight. She put on her mask and followed Delia discreetly, hiding behind a wall while Delia waited for someone. Sienna held her breath to avoid making a sound. She feared getting caught, but her determination to uncover the truth was stronger. After a few minutes, a man arrived. Sienna tried to identify his voice, but failed. She was certain she'd never heard him before. "And what happened to your wrist? Why the bandage?" he asked. "That's none of your business," Delia snapped. "I'm not here to discuss my well-being. Just take the money and get out of my life," she shouted. "Easy, baby, easy. The walls have ears. What if someone hears you?" He chuckled. "Yelling isn't good for our baby." "Our baby?" Sienna nearly gasped aloud but caught herself. Peeking carefully, she saw Delia and the stranger. His eyes roamed lustfully over Delia. Sienna was sure she had never seen this man before. "Mine," Delia corrected him coldly. "Okay, yours," he replied with a chuckle. "Take the money and go. I don't want to be blackmailed over the baby anymore. Once I marry Aldrich, I'll get rid of it too. I'm tired of this. There's enough money in the bag for you to disappear and live off it, Delia said with venom. The man zipped the bag and laughed. I still thank God for that night. The baby in your womb has become a money-making machine for me. Shut up. I don't have time for your trash. Take the money and go, she shouted. Oh, you look cute when you're angry, he teased. Before Delia could say more, her phone rang. She answered and beamed. What? Really? I'm coming. The lawyer is at the mansion. Today I marry Aldrich. You sold your child. From now on we're done. I don't want to see your face again. Leave this country today, she ordered. As you say, soon to be Mrs. Lionel, he laughed. Goodbye, baby. He left first. Delia followed. Sienna, stunned, realized the depth of Delia's deceit. She had betrayed Aldrich's mother's trust and was about to ruin Aldrich's life. Sienna had to act fast. She searched for her phone, only to realize she had left it behind. She dashed to the car and told the driver to head to the mansion. Be quick, she yelled. Midway, the car broke down. What the hell? She cried in frustration. This is urgent. The driver apologized and stepped out to inspect. Give me your phone, she demanded. He hesitantly handed it over. Unlock it, damn it, she barked, causing him to flinch. She tried calling Aldrich repeatedly, but he didn't answer. I hate you, Aldrich Lionel, she shouted at the phone. The driver looked her up and down. Ma'am, I've called Robert. He'll be here in 20 minutes. I can't wait that long. Arrange a cab now. Yes, ma'am, I will, he stammered. Minutes later, the cab arrived. Sienna got in without a word and ordered the driver to rush. She arrived within 20 minutes. While running toward the mansion, she stumbled but didn't stop. By the time she got there, Aldrich had already signed the papers. Her heart sank. Taking deep breaths, she walked toward them. Delia was about to sign when Sienna snatched the pen from her hand. Delia looked up. Their eyes met. Sienna was flooded with memories of the betrayal, lies, and sacrifices she had endured. The pain, the lies Delia told Aldrich, the damage to his family, everything boiled inside her. With all the fury and pain inside her, Sienna slapped Delia with all her might. Her hand flew across Delia's face, sending her head to the side. Aldrich gasped in shock. She slapped Delia with all her might, sending her head falling back as Aldrich gasped in shock. A pin-drop silence enveloped the room, and everyone stared in disbelief. Delia froze, too stunned to move. The slap was so forceful it left the attacker's palm stinging, but the rage within her had not subsided. Delia deserved more. Delia's eyes snapped with fury, red with anger, nostrils flaring, and body quivering in rage. She lunged to retaliate, but Aldrich stepped forward to intervene. Still, her wrist was caught mid-air and held tightly. Her movement halted with a warning tilt of the head. She twisted, trying to free herself, but the grip only tightened. The woman declared she wouldn't bend this time. She wouldn't allow Delia to get away with whatever she pleased. She flung Delia's hand back with such force that Delia stumbled, only to be caught by Aldrich's mother just in time. What nonsense is this? Aldrich's mother yelled. Ask Delia, came the cold response. Delia's eyes narrowed, revealing unmistakable fear. The truth was threatening to surface. She was afraid of being exposed, of losing Aldrich. The fear on her face was satisfying to see. It was her doing, and she deserved it all. The woman turned to Delia. Are you going to tell everyone the truth about the baby, or shall I do it for you? Which truth? Delia asked, trying to stay composed, masking her panic. She was cunning, capable of deceiving anyone with her performance. Stop pretending, Delia. I know the baby you're carrying isn't Aldrich's. As the words hung in the air, color drained from Delia's face. Silence fell over the room, as if even the air had stilled. Delia's lips parted with disbelief, and she trembled as if her mask had been ripped off. You can't blame me, she cried, shielding her bump. "You can't question my child. You're the one I'm blaming, not the baby," the woman replied. Aldrich's mother grabbed her roughly by the elbow. "Do you have any evidence to support this nonsense?" Silence followed. There was no proof, just certainty in her gaze. "Apologize to Delia, now!" Instead, she broke free from the grip, eyes focused on Aldrich, who stood silent, unable to process the betrayal. The woman grabbed Delia's hand and began to drag her. "You have blind trust in Delia. Let me show you the result of trusting a snake." Delia shrieked. "What are you doing?" "Is this how you treat elders?" She spun around without loosening her grip. "Sometimes elders must be shown the truth, even if force is required." She marched towards Delia's room, Aldrich and Delia following in timid steps. "Check your locker," she said. Delia hesitated, glancing at Aldrich. He gestured for her to continue. She entered the passcode, opened the locker, and gasped. Her eyes widened in horror as she saw it nearly empty. Frantically, she searched for her missing valuables. "Where's my money?" she asked. "Ask Delia," the woman snapped. "Only she knows the password besides you and Aldrich." Delia's expression changed from fear to desperation. "She's blaming me. I didn't do it." "She must have stolen the money," Aldrich's mother agreed. "What can you expect from someone like her?" Aldrich silenced his mother with just a raise of his hand. The silence was deafening. He approached Delia with short, deliberate steps. His eyes blazed with a rage that could unnerve anyone. He stopped only an arm's length away. "Aldrich, Delia started. "Truth," he demanded, voice steady but dangerous. Saint Steele," she stammered. "Not the money. I'm asking about the baby." His fists clenched, jaw locked tight. He was trembling with anger. Delia didn't speak, too scared to admit, too broken to deny. "Is this my baby or not? Tell me now or I'll find out myself. And if even 1% of what she said is true, I swear I will never forgive you." "Delia, I haven't—" "Truth!" he roared. Is this my baby or not?" he asked one final time. Delia barely whispered. "No." Rage consumed Aldrich. He punched the cupboard behind her, the crash splitting the silence and cracking the wood. His face hovered inches from hers. Breath labored. He was beyond fury. Delia shook violently, whimpering, eyes pleading. "Why?" he growled. "When you knew how much I hate lies." "I did it for you, Aldrich," she sobbed. "I loved you so much, but you never even looked at me when you returned from Spain. All you saw was her. I was scared. I felt invisible. So, You got pregnant to blame the child on me?" Aldrich seethed. "No, it wasn't planned. I was heartbroken. I got drunk. I don't even remember how much. I met someone. I didn't realize what I was doing until it was too late. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought of aborting. But then I thought if I had this child, I could use it to get you back." Before she could finish, Aldrich's mother spun her around and slapped her. The sound echoed louder than the earlier slap. "I trusted you, treated you like a daughter, shared everything with you. And you tried to force this child on my son? Shame on you." Even the woman was stunned to see Aldrich's mother take her son's side. Delia turned to Aldrich. "I'm sorry. Please. I love you. I did it for you." "I'm not a trophy you can win, Delia. You chose the wrong path. I promise I'll never lie again. Just don't push me away. My bad luck is I don't give second chances." Please." "No amount of begging will work. Leave and never show me your face again." Lion! Leave!" he bellowed, making her flinch. "Get out before I lose my temper. Be thankful I'm not taking any action against you." Leave!" Delia turned and walked to the door, her steps hollow. Nothing could change Aldrich's mind. A heavy silence engulfed the room. No one spoke. After a pause, Aldrich left, The others followed quietly, watching him head toward the mansion's exit. "Aldrich, where are you going?" she asked. He didn't reply. "Son, please say something," his mother begged. No response. He walked to his car, climbed in without looking back, and drove away. Aldrich Plum. But he was gone. Now, what happened to him? It had been 2 hours since Sienna and Aldrich's mother started waiting for his return. His phone was switched off, making it impossible to track his location. After an hour of anxiety, Sienna called Peter for help since her father was not at home. Peter promised to escort Aldrich back safely. Peter was still upset with Sienna for not sharing the news of her pregnancy. He felt betrayed and thought she didn't trust him. When Lily revealed the truth, it broke him. Yet, when she called him out of the blue and told him about the situation, he couldn't refuse to help. Peter knew exactly where Aldrich would be. Ever since they returned after completing their studies, Aldrich always went to a particular place whenever he missed Sienna. The three of them had been best friends since Sienna's birth. Peter and Aldrich had equally taken care of her. Over time, Peter realized he loved Sienna, but upon seeing how Aldrich adored and protected her, he stepped back. Despite everything, Sienna always chose Aldrich. Peter accepted that they were made for each other. Aldrich's mother had once forced him to study abroad to separate him from Sienna. While Peter tried to stay close to Aldrich in school, Aldrich, an introvert, shared his feelings only with Sienna. After they moved to a new city, Aldrich became completely silent, missing Sienna every single day. Even after returning, Aldrich was warned by his mother to stay away. He was not afraid of anyone, but he feared that one wrong step could endanger Sienna. Still, nothing stopped him from watching over her, from secretly following her to college, to waiting outside her library, just to catch a glimpse. Peter remembered the day Aldrich nearly attacked a boy who wanted to propose to Sienna. Aldrich had always been obsessively protective of her. Peter had advised him to decide what he really wanted in life. Eventually, Aldrich decided to distance himself, believing he was to blame for the death of Sienna's mother. That guilt and the fear of endangering her kept him from marrying her. Aldrich had convinced himself that Sienna could never be his, which is why he never questioned Delia's lies. His belief became self-fulfilling, convinced something would always stop him from being with Sienna. Peter reached Aldrich's favorite spot and found him sitting alone, exactly where he expected. He drove him home. The moment the door opened, Sienna smiled seeing Peter and Aldrich, but Aldrich was clearly drunk and could barely walk. She ran to him, supporting him to his room with Peter's help. Once Aldrich was on the bed, she asked Peter if he needed any medicine. Peter told her, "He's broken, and the only medicine to his pain is you." Aldrich groaned in pain. Peter advised her to make sure Aldrich took a shower before sleeping to reduce the effects of the alcohol. Sienna thanked him. Peter gave her a final glance, his eyes lingering on her baby bump, before leaving quietly. Surprisingly, Aldrich's mother also left without any argument. Sienna helped Aldrich sit up, unbuttoned his shirt, and tried to remove his shoes. He stopped her, removing them himself. He looked guilty. She pulled his face up to meet her eyes. "I am sorry," he whispered. Sienna was stunned. He grabbed her palms and looked at her with half-open eyes, clearly drunk, and began to apologize. He confessed everything, leaving her, breaking his promise, ignoring her out of fear, marrying her, yet disrespecting her, trusting Delia blindly, never verifying the truth, and nearly marrying Delia while being unsure of the child's paternity. "I was about to do injustice not only to you but also to our baby. I'm guilty of everything. Just forgive me." Sienna placed her hand over his and said, "I am happy because our bond became stronger through this. Life is about ups and downs. and I'm glad we saw Delia's true face before it was too late. She told him not to feel guilty. Everything that happened was out of his control. It was fate. As she spoke, he gazed at her, as if she were his most treasured possession. "But I am angry," she added. "You ran away and switched off your phone." Aldrich explained he didn't have the courage to face her after almost making a huge mistake. He felt powerless around her, filled with guilt and fear. His mind went blank and he panicked. "Sorry," he said, pouting and holding his ears. Sienna melted at his expression and forgave him. "Whatever life gives us, we'll face it together. Just don't run again," she said. He nodded like a child. Sienna pulled him by the arm, trying to make him get up for a shower. He finally stood and leaned on her to reach the bathroom. Once inside, she turned on the shower and left, only to hear him yell, "I am falling!" She ran back and caught him just in time, soaking herself in the process. "I am falling," he whispered again, this time against her lips. "No, you will not fall. I'm holding you tight," she said, gripping his arms. He wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her close. His eyes bore into hers. "I am falling for you, my little lamb," he said. Her heart skipped a beat, and tears welled up. He confessed that he had tried to fill the void left by her absence with meaningless flings, but it was always her he needed. He felt complete only when she re-entered his life. "I know we're different. You love simplicity. I can't live without luxury. You're messy. I'm organized. You're optimistic. I'm not. But I believe we're made for each other." He pressed his forehead to hers as water dripped down on them. "I love you, Miss Sienna Gomez." He admitted he had always loved her. She moved her hands behind his neck and whispered, "The feeling is mutual, Mr. Aldrich Lionel." His eyes widened in surprise. Before he could say anything, she kissed him to remove the awkwardness. He kissed her back with gentle affection. It was clear through the kiss what he wanted to say. They got lost in each other. She pulled back, and he groaned in protest, but then she said the words that left him stunned. "I want you," she mumbled against his chin. "I want you," leaving him in shock as she pulled his face closer to claim his lips once more. "Aren't you getting bold?" he asked with a grin on his lips, humor lurking in his voice. She threw her arms on his shoulders. "Very much," she smirked. "After witnessing today's incident, the way you fearlessly slapped and exposed Delia in front of everyone, the way your body was emanating fervency, the way you were fighting for right, I should stop calling you lamb." She pouted. She liked it whenever he called her his little lamb. "And should start calling you lioness," he said, as he pulled her nose and chuckled. "No, I am fine with the lamb," she objected. Okay, as you say. Now I have to stay extra conscious around you, as I don't want to become the victim of your raging pregnancy hormones," he added, chuckling again. "I hate you," she punched his chest. "But you just confessed that you love me," he pouted. "Yes, but now I hate you," she argued, illogically. "Hate me or love me," he swatted away the hair strands from her shoulder and pulled her to his chest. "You are just mine, and I am not letting you go anywhere now." He returned with a dominating demeanor, pulled her dangerously close, and leaned in to kiss her. Just before his lips touched hers, she ducked and sneezed, digging her nails into his skin. They had been in the water for a long time, and her body was beginning to react to it. He groaned in dismay, and she giggled. "Come, let's provide you some heat and give what you want." He grinned. She bit her lower lip to suppress her excitement. He settled her into the chair, added logs to the fireplace, walked into the closet, and came back with a towel. One by one, he discarded his clothes and wiped his body with the towel, while she admired his well-built physique. The water glistening over his muscles made them more appealing, and her fingers ached to touch his hard yet smooth skin. "Are you done admiring me?" he asked, approaching her. She looked down, embarrassed. "Don't be shy. I was just kidding. Now it is only yours to stare and love," he added. She sat on the chair, silently, unsure of what to do next. When he bent to her level, she pushed back instinctively, not out of fear, but it happened absent-mindedly. "Don't worry, I'm not going to eat you," he grinned. "At least not yet." He winked. Without giving her a chance to react, he rolled her t-shirt up and over her head. "This reminds me of something," he said, as he removed the rest of her clothes. "What?" "You remember our first kiss?" he asked. Her eyebrows squinted in confusion. "When you were continuously speaking and I kissed you to seal your lips," he continued. Her forehead relaxed and she blushed. It had been her first kiss. She was angry at him then, but now she was thankful for every moment spent with him. "That day it was not the maid but me who changed your clothes," he confessed. She gasped, and he chuckled mischievously. He told her he had asked the female staff to change her clothes. She silently thanked God he hadn't admitted the truth earlier. She would have died from embarrassment. "At that time, it was hard for a sex addict like me to keep my hands to myself," he admitted, "especially with a girl like you lying almost naked in front of me. But I controlled my urge because I knew you wouldn't like it when you weren't in your senses. That was the first time I fought with my inner beast, just for you." She looked down, blushing crimson red, unable to stay mad at him, even for lying. She wondered, was it love or pregnancy hormones playing with her? The night was still young. So was their love. The full moon peeking through a slightly open window bore witness to the passion blooming in their hearts, like stars sparkling in the sky. Delia was enraged by the way Sienna slapped her in front of everyone, when not even her parents had ever raised their hands on her. She felt humiliated. "That bitch!" she yelled, and threw the empty glass on the floor. "How dare she?" She was not ready to accept her mistake, as in her eyes she was right. They say everything is fair, in love and war, so this is exactly what she did. According to her, the way she chose was wrong, but her love was true, which was enough to justify her deeds. She stood in front of the mirror, with disheveled hair, lipstick smudged all over her face, mascara running down her cheek, and eyes bloodshot red from continuous crying. Anyone looking at her could tell she had gone through a severe heartbreak. She believed Sienna was responsible for everything that had happened that day. "I promise, Sienna, that I will make sure you pay for what you have done to me," she vowed to herself in the mirror. "Leave," a male voice commanded as the door clicked. "It is not your cup of tea," he said, lounging comfortably on the couch. "You!" she gasped, stunned that he had entered her home without permission. He ignored her reaction and lit a cigarette, blowing puffs of smoke. His eyes followed the trail until it disappeared into the air. "You are going to vanish into the crowd just like this smoke," he declared, inhaling weed again. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, marching toward him in frustration. He casually pressed his index finger into his ear, protecting himself from her yelling. "You are irritating," he teased, which made her feel like she was burning with rage. "Get out of my house, right now!" she shouted. He lifted his legs and placed them over the table, one on top of the other. "What if I don't?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "You threatened to reveal my secret in front of everyone, and now I am exposed. I'm not scared of you anymore. There's nothing you can do to me," she sneered. "True," he said, placing his feet on the ground and pouring himself a drink. "I was a fool to believe you could separate them. I was wrong. You failed in your mission, and I failed in reading you." He took a sip of the drink. "I haven't failed," she screamed. "You got me! I haven't failed!" She picked up an empty bottle and threw it at his face. He dodged, and the bottle shattered against the wall into thousands of pieces. "Only if you'd used your anger in the right place." He clicked his tongue, brushing his shoulder and checking for dents on his expensive suit. "If you're here to mock my loss, let me tell you, I haven't lost yet. He's mine. I will have him, even if I have to murder whoever stands in my way." She growled. Her eyes spit fire. Her heart burned with vengeance. "I will not sit silently until I've taken revenge for my humiliation, pain, and every tear." She sniffed. "If you want Aldrich, then this time you'll have to stay silent," he replied, placing his glass on the table. Her forehead furrowed, and she opened her mouth to object, but he interrupted. "Earlier, I stayed silent and let you play your game. Now I'll take the lead, and you'll wait for your turn." As Aldrich used to call her dimwit, it took her a moment to decipher his words. "It's not that easy to break them. They're strong together," she admitted. "What if you fail too?" "I won't," he said darkly. "My desire to get Sia in my arms is 100 times more powerful than yours. I'm desperate to taste that forbidden fruit." "What is it about her that drives you both insane?" she asked, jealousy flaring in her veins. "That's what I want to know," he said, eyes lost in thought. "What is it in her that attracts me like a magnet?" "You're dreaming with open eyes. It's not as easy as you think. You've never seen them together. When they are, the confidence in Sienna's eyes rises to a new level, and Aldrich looks like he could fight the whole world to protect her," she observed. "You don't know me," he smirked. "Just wait and watch." "She will marry me of her own will." Delia laughed loudly, her voice echoing through the room. "That's exactly how I'll laugh at Aldrich when his love is in my arms. I want to see him beg at my feet and beat him black and blue without mercy," he growled through clenched teeth. "Why do you hate him so much?" she asked, staring into his eyes filled with hatred. "You're after everything he has." "Why?" "Because he stole my most precious person. I want to take everything he cherishes, including his childhood sweetheart," he spat. "I want him to feel the pain of losing what he loves. I attacked his wealth, took over his business, but now he has her, and I want her at any cost." "Your most precious person?" Delia raised her brows. "Who?" "My sister," he said, his eyes softening. "Your sister?" He nodded, walking aimlessly. "My baby sister." He turned to face Delia, whose breath caught at the sight of his face. He looked guilty, vengeful, and terrifying. "He was my sister's senior at the university. She had a large red birthmark on her cheek. Kids used to mock her, and she'd cry whenever someone called her ugly. I nearly killed boys who said things about her. I was her only friend." Delia listened intently. "She was brilliant. She earned a scholarship to a top university. I was scared for her, but I let her go. That's where she met Aldrich," he said, his voice breaking. "Some boys teased her, and he defended her. From that moment he became her crush. He protected her, and eventually she fell in love with him. She used to tell me about him all the time. Our conversations were always about him. That's when I realized she was in love. I was happy. Finally, someone saw her inner beauty. She was happy. But I didn't know her happiness wouldn't last," he said, defeated. The one she thought was her savior was actually the devil who took her light away. "What did Aldrich do to your sister?" Delia asked, voice trembling. "He killed her." "What?" Delia was stunned. She knew Aldrich for a long time. He had anger issues, but murder. "No," she whispered. "This can't be true." Aldrich can't take a life." "But he did," he said with a blank stare. "Forcing someone to commit suicide is murder." "Suicide?" Delia whispered. "When it became too much, she confessed her love to him, and he rejected her, said he treated her like a sister, that he'd have done the same for anyone." He paused. The air thickened. It broke her heart. He was the only one, besides me, who ever showed her care. I tried everything, but I failed her. I failed as a brother. One day, she couldn't take it anymore. She jumped into the river. Delia gasped. My heart broke watching her jump. The pain I felt. I can't describe it. His eyes blazed with rage. "I want Aldrich to suffer like I did. I will get revenge for me and my sister." His fists clenched. "When Sienna is mine, he'll feel what it's like to be helpless, to lose someone you love. That will be my revenge, and her peace." He lifted his palms slowly, staring at them. "And my revenge will be complete when I kill his baby with my bare hands." He laughed maniacally, his voice echoing. Delia shuddered. She saw a side of him that terrified her. "Only then he'll understand the pain of losing a loved one. Only then will I breathe in peace while he burns in anguish." He laughed again. Delia stepped back. He looked determined, dangerous. "There's a high chance you'll fail. I trusted Aldrich's mother and still failed," she admitted. "That's where you went wrong," he sneered. "You trusted the wrong person. I'll use the foundation of that family. It looks strong outside, but it's hollow inside." "Who?" "Edward Lionel," he smirked. "Aldrich's father?" Delia was bewildered. "He'll never help you. He loves Aldrich deeply." "No one knows him better than me." He laughed again. "I'm coming, Lion. I'm coming to hunt you." To be continued. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see the next one, please type episode 8 in the comments section. My name is Mr. Hope, and I'll see you in the next one.